What is going on, everybody? And in this video, we're providing a state of the market and stock picks for November 16th, 2022. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, consider subscribing, as we do provide daily and weekly updates to get you prepared for the day and the week ahead in this glorious market. So a little bit of market sentiment is currently right now, we are pretty much the well is dry as far as any kind of news. So essentially now to till about the 13th to the 14th of December, there really isn't a lot of news. We are getting value earnings, which is alluding to a more positive sentiment for Q1, though we'll potentially see some sort of impact of Q4 and how bad things are. Again, it's really a time sensitive matter as far as how high the rates are going to stay before this. Essentially, the rates are going to erode these companies even more and more. We've seen that primarily in tech. I've been taking a big hit, but we are seeing inflation come down, which is good in a sense. Um, but again, some bigger things could unfold if the rates do not come down. And again, that's all based off of core. So again, we got another month where it's going to sit at higher rates until we determine where the core is at. And then the Fed have to dial back, and they are not in a rush to do so. But in the midterm, as to what is going on currently right now, today we did get some news about potential Russian bombing in Poland. Apparently, it could have potentially just been some shrapnel, is what it sounds like, from the Ukraine, essentially shooting some rockets out of the air. But there is more eyes on that, trying to determine what's going on there. So that kind of sunk the market a little bit today. But as you can see, the market popped right back up, trying to break that 4K. Now, that 4K is a little bit harder to break because of the fact that you are sitting, it's a resistance of the 200 daily and the 20 EMA monthly. I've been kind of pinned in this thing. If we zoom this out, we've been kind of pinned in here for hot minutes. Even if, like I said, if the monthly and the daily are kind of roughly around this area. Again, these lines aren't exact, these EMAs, but it's kind of roughly where we've been at. And then we're also being held down by the trend line, uh, the natural trend line we're coming into, which is roughly sitting around that 4,100. So even if we do break, we got more resistance to break through. So it's hard to really determine if of TOS. It's hard really to even determine if we do break out, how much more runway we got. We need more positive news, and I don't think we're going to be breaking all-time highs with the current market that we're sitting in. Again, we are coming into a very uneventful holiday season. It's typically what happens around this time. If you notice, a lot of news and media kind of get muted during this time. Every year, this is pretty much the same case. So you don't get a lot of volatility, you don't get a lot of volume within this time. And so today's event, typically you'll see what happens is we get scared of a bomb. Potentially World War III was trending for a while, and the market sells off pretty quick and then only bounces right back as soon as they find out that it was potentially only shrapnel. So with that being said, again, currently right now, biggest pivotal event is going to be midterm December. I don't really expect a lot. The market wants to rip. There's a lot of price action pushing towards the upside. So again, I could potentially see a rally if we can break this. It's essentially the 40 20 23 is roughly what's holding us down. But we'll have to see. Again, it is tough resistance. It is kind of the first time we've tested it. It's something I've talked about, is that you'll get a break, the initial retest, and then drop, and then you'll retest it, and normally that's a pretty big drop. But we're kind of waiting to see if there's an actual news event. It's kind of funny because news events do time these things very well, and you'll typically get a news event that will sink this thing right on a technical level as well. So it's interesting to watch that. Again, there's no more momentum to the upside that's really helping us. Maybe we get some more positive earnings that could potentially help us break. We had the PPI today. It helped in some sense to try to break it. We popped, but then we got rejected. So it did pop us up today and then only get rejected. So again, that the level is like a wall, and I'm not sure if we're going to break that until the next earnings. The only thing I could think of, like I talked about yesterday, is we could potentially just sell off whatever news-driven event that is back down to the 38.45. I think that would be a good buy as long as there's no negative news for potential that could rally us back up, making higher lows, as you can see here. Would put us at another higher low and then make a higher high, which essentially put us right where we want to be, roughly around that 4,100. Hopefully a breakout. Hopefully that's around December, which could break us out. But again, I still wouldn't be surprised if we just rattle around in this range until the 13th. Do we get some sort of event that's going to push us in one way or the other? Now, as far as Bitcoin has been holding around 16K, so I don't really want to look at that right now. The FTX stuff is unfolding, so it's interesting to see what happens there. The dollar, it attempted to break the 105, and it obviously big bounce because this is 200 EMA. But the big question is if this can break, I think the market could really rally. This would open up the floodgates to a huge rally if the dollar can break back below the 105, but it has to first. And so we will see what happens with the dollar there. Again, bonds and stuff are heavily manipulated, but I do believe I'm becoming more and more bullish moving forward on some of the stuff that's coming out. But I'm still not going to be blinded by the fact that the rates are high, and that needs to come down quickly, or else things aren't going to recover, and you're going to get a different black swan that's going to sink us. And that's my concern. It's not so much to the inflation anymore. The inflation, in my mind, is getting to a good point. But again, now it's the rates. How quick can we get the rates back down so the consumers come back and start purchasing? But again, as soon as you do that, you run the risk of driving up inflation again. So that's what we're trying to avoid. So it's a very narrow line you essentially have to walk to try to balance this and see how this plays out. Tesla, again, it's floating around here. I think Tesla will continue to float around here until Elon either one tells everybody he's done selling, which he hasn't done yet. And so I think it will continue to rattle around here. We still got a lot of time before the next earnings cycle. Not saying that Tesla can't run. There could be some news that does drop that does cause Tesla to rip, like Elon saying that he's done selling. But as of right now, really watching to see if Tesla comes back down to the 185 mark. Kind of watching that for to potentially add here. You have to also remind yourself that you are in could potentially hitting a top here at the 208. So you need to really watch that as well. It's going to be a tougher resistance to break through. You're going to need some good news to break through that, in my opinion. Airbnb could potentially be a nice little pop here tomorrow as long as it can stay above the 109. Up to above that, you got some headroom, at least up to the 117. Airbnb is building really strong. If we do start selling again, I'll be watching this 93 mark for another entry there. One I do want to add in is Now. Considering service and cloud have been doing extremely well. Now has done very well. It has had earnings a couple weeks ago, so you do want to really watch this, but it's been playing this range really well. If we can break out of the 227 tomorrow, you could probably get a really nice pop here to the 257. So kind of really watching this level very closely to see if that does pop tomorrow. Yes, I'm starting to incorporate more tickers because of the fact that I believe I'm becoming more bullish on the way this market is playing out. Again, it's coming a lot sooner, just like it came a lot sooner when the market started selling off and stuff. So this bounce back is coming back. But again, my concern will be moving forward is how quick the rates will get dialed back. We want that consumer to come back, or else you're going to do more reputable damage that is going to cause some other cataclysmic event that will cause us to sell off. And we're trying to avoid that. So right now, we still got hopium is very potent. Things are looking good, but we just need the rest of it to unfold to really start to have some sort of trip back to all-time highs. Again, that trip isn't going to be very smooth, in my opinion, but we will try to see where we can go from there. BA again looks like a potential another bull flag here. Again, my real concern here is you don't want this parabolic move up. It's really not good because that's only going to lead to a massive downfall if this thing does start to sell off bad. It's not great for the bulls. You don't want it to go run parabolic like this. We want it retesting old, what was old resistances, now supports. You want this back testing all these, and it's not doing that. Again, that just means it's going to come down a lot faster than it went up. So you have to keep that in mind. Banks look like they want to roll over pretty badly. Banks, same situation, just parabolic move, hardly any touchbacks, not really what you want to see. Looking for a bigger correction on this at some point. Not sure when we will get that, but I want to definitely keep that on watch. GS has obviously been doing a little bit better, a lot more parabolic, so be careful of that one. Bank of America, same thing. There's not really much of a difference there. But that is pretty much what I got. Again, these videos are going to be short right now, especially around this time, because there's just not really a lot going on. Next week for Thanksgiving, I'll kind of forewarn everybody here. I'll probably more than likely just be doing morning updates on Twitter. So if you don't follow me at Hemi137, follow me at Hemi137. I do morning updates every morning there. I will probably only be giving morning updates as there probably won't be a lot going on. Volume will be really dried up. News will be really dried up. The market probably won't move much. So what we finish at the end of the week will pretty much dictate how everything else is going to be for the remainder of the upcoming week. So with that being said, I appreciate you. Go ahead and drop a like button. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.